time.
Oh, I'm not even hosting it. I've got you.
I was looking. Hello, welcome to Anime Club, a club full of sneaky little ones. Hello and welcome to the dirty old classroom where every week we get together and we watch 3 episodes of a different anime. Sometimes we've seen them before, sometimes we haven't. This week we're doing one which is completely new to both of us. And by both of us, I mean myself, Phoebe, and of course my beautiful co-host, Chris.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm
How
just
you doing
glad
today,
I'm here.
Chris?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. It's very hot. And I've come with snacks. So we put it to a vote on Instagram of whether I should have Asian or Eastern European snacks. Because I wanted to try something that we'd never tried before while watching an anime that I'd never seen before. And the vote landed on Eastern European. So I've got these, which I cannot pronounce.
Corn.
Palecci? Corn snacks! And I think it says that they're gluten-free. It says bez gluten novi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we got corn snacks. I've also got this, which looks delicious. And I was talking to Molly, your lovely other half, before we started, and I was showing her the different snacks, and she was like, "That I'd try that." She was less interested in corn snacks.
Yeah, Molly likes a sweet over savoury.
Yeah. Can't blame her. Of course she does. Look at who she's living with.
Maggie the dog.
Oh, Maggie the dog and Trixie the turtle.
Yeah.
So this week we're doing Sakamoto Days. Sorry, before I go in, you've also got snacks, right? You've got different snacks.
Yeah.
You've gone Asian.
I've went on theme for the podcast and got some I've got some strawberry mochi.
Nice.
Which is a big pack, which I dug out the cupboard because I've had it for a while. I've also got some turtles, which are pecan caramel nut clusters covered in chocolate, which I'm looking forward to.
That sounds yummy.
And to wash it down, I've got some nice Picari sweat, which I've never tried.
Gorgeous. No, it's I'm looking forward to seeing you try that. So is Eddie.
Me too. Get them electrolytes back in us.
Yeah, from all the sweating we've been doing today, from all the stuff we've got on. I'm so sorry about the dog. Eddie. We're trying to talk about anime. Cool your jets, buddy. It's because the cat has tried to move and has gone outside into the garden. I'm cat sitting for my mother this week. That's why, I'm dialing in from somewhere that has fancy bookshelves and things.
Oh, I thought they were your bookshelves.
No. I don't read books. Not enough pictures. That's why I like manga.
True.
I don't even bother with the speech bubbles. I just like to look at their faces.
Oh, did I ever tell you I once tried to apply for a job at Waterstones? And part of that application process was, do you read books and what kind of books do you like reading? And for some reason I put Haynes manuals. Didn't get the job.
Also weirdly specific.
Yeah.
Was that just the nearest thing you could find?
It was in front of us at the time. I was just
saying,
Haynes manual for a car.
That feels like something that was in front of you at the time, to be fair. So, shall we talk Sakamoto Days, which is this week's podcast? I'm gonna try my first snack while I ask you this time before you put something in your mouth. How would you describe Sakamoto Days to someone who's never seen any anime before?
Right, I would describe it as an anime version of John Wick.
Okay.
Without the dog death. basically Sakamoto down there eating the ramen. He's a retired hitman. He falls in love, finds a woman, gets married, leaves the hitman lifestyle, and he's kind of like left it all behind him. And then he gains a lot of weight, which is very relatable.
Extremely relatable.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just hit a point in your life.
I don't need to kill people anymore. I'll just gain loads of weight and be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also lovely to see like an action hero, like a chubby action hero.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
He's proper.
I think it does make him more powerful.
He's proper like swift as well for being a big bloke.
Yeah. When he decides to move, he can hustle.
Yeah. I just like sometimes randomly, because he doesn't talk very much. He just wobbles his chin.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to get my I've realised too late that these are unnecessarily phallic, and then I was like, do I eat them this way and therefore like avoid dodgy screenshots of myself?
It'll be fine.
Or do I just embrace? It's fine.
Bet...
They're all right, by the way. They're just very plain.
Yeah.
But they're like, they taste like. Do you know rainbow drops?
Yeah.
That you get at like school fairs. Do you remember like a packet of rainbow drops? They taste like that, but without any sugar. Or any flavouring at all. There's like no salt, nothing.
I'm just gonna dip into my turtle nut cluster.
Yeah. That sounds so good. Does it taste good? Oh, it looks chewy.
It's nice. It tastes nothing like turtles though.
Okay, that's a relief. Should I be worried that you know what that tastes like, considering you've got a turtle called Trixie?
Pure coincidence.
Okay.
Sakamoto Days.
Nice. Sakamoto Days. I think the fact that we're eating snacks feels very appropriate. So, what's your first impressions of the anime? What would you say the story's about? What did you think coming into it?
Coming into it, I thought it would have been like a almost really chilled back, relaxed anime you can just pop on in the background when you've got like a nice little hangover day. So you don't have to pay that close attention, but like it still has bits where like you pay attention and watch it. But as it went on, I was like, oh, this is really ramping up into a amazing anime. I really enjoyed it. But I cheated a little bit, okay? So I'm on episode 8 now.
You said to me, you give me such a hard time when I do that and watch ahead, and you were like, we're only going to watch the first 3 episodes, right? And I was like, okay, this time I'll only watch the first 3 episodes. And I agree with you. I also really enjoyed this anime, and I've been dying to watch more, and I've waited until we did this, and now I find out that you betrayed me.
Yeah, you're a better person than me, because I would see. I watched the first 3 episodes and I was like, oh, I kind of want to watch the next one, and then I found myself just getting glued to it. I mean, I was even watching it on my phone, so it wasn't. Like, it was just in the background. And I was like, no, I'm watching this. I found myself at work doing absolutely nothing work wise, and watching a good 3-4 episodes.
Yeah, and this is a skiving aside, this is definitely what I would describe as like a sleeper hit, right? Which I think is appropriate language, considering it's about a former assassin. Oh,
there's something changed there.
Yeah. Did you change the window? There we go. Stop fiddling. Can't resist a fiddle. No, it's okay. I've also realised these are really hard to eat subtly. Like, there's no subtle way to eat this massive corn puff. Like, just try and like sneak and eat. You're like, doesn't work. No, so I would say it's a sleeper hit, right? So you go into it thinking, oh, here's a chubby guy, used to be a killer, now he runs a convenience store, little slice of life anime. And then suddenly I just found myself getting like really glued to the
Mhm.
story. And I also wanted to watch on, as we have discussed. Oh, the mochi. Yeah. Enjoy.
Mm,
It's
that's
going to be
good.
really hard to talk though. They are gummy. They are good though, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah. So it's about a former assassin. He falls in love, and his new wife decides that she's had enough of him killing people. So he quits the mafia, yakuza, professional assassin
It's the
lifestyle.
Japanese Hitman Association or something, isn't it?
That's it.
It's something like
So
yeah.
they have a name for like the organization.
Mm.
He quits it. It seems to disappear. No one knows where he's gone. And what he's actually done is he's set himself up in a convenience store and is just like getting fat off his wife's delicious cooking. Um, Extremely relatable. And then suddenly, someone from his past shows up, his former partner, who is a character called Shin, who is a telepath. And at first, I was like, a telepath in an assassin anime feels a bit like out of place. But
Mm.
the way that they use his power, the way that he's like, yeah, the way they use his power when he's in fights and things makes you realize that actually reading minds would be like god mode in life. Like it's
Yeah.
very cool the way that they kind of like do the action and the mind reading, and also they kind of don't make him like, or like he's not like a doctor, he's not like a Professor X type character, who's just like insanely powerful. Like he's got very clear limits as to what he can and can't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it's just great, and it's so fun. And you instantly like a lot of the characters when they show up. You're like, oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
um, yeah,
I found that even with the bad guys, because they've got a rule in the family, because he's not a hitman anymore. You're not allowed to kill. So when he encounters a hitman trying to take off him, um,
yeah,
he leaves him alive, and most of them are just like, "Look, I'm doing this for the money. I just like let us go, or whatever." And he does, and you're like,
yeah,
"Oh, he's not actually that bad. He's just doing his job."
yeah. And he's also good at like disabling people in a
Mm-hmm.
very exciting and dynamic way. Um,
Yeah,
and I was reading on the Reddit. So one of my questions is, so you see him in like his very prime Sakamoto prime physique, and you
yeah,
see him in his uh, chubby funster
yeah.
physique, dad bod, full dad bod. What version of Sakamoto do you prefer? Because I went into unable to continue watching because I was trying to obey the rules.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I of course went on Reddit and started seeing what other people said about it.
yeah. So I've actually seen the episode where he gets skinny, and then he. So I've seen the difference between the two.
Yeah,
I think they kind of use it as like a power up, nearly. Not like he turns skinny and then he's
Super Saiyan moment.
yeah, he's just like, oh, he's done such a like powerful move. He's just worked off all that extra chub, kind of thing. Which is, I mean, it's alright for the story. It kind of makes sense in a funny way. But I prefer the chubby because he's just like he's more not relatable. He's more of a normal person. But when you see
Yeah,
him in his skinny cool guy state, you're like, yeah, it's a totally different character from the guy I've known from episode one.
yeah,
He's almost back
and
to
I
that
think
hitman character
yeah,
and not the dad husband guy.
yeah, and I think there are so many like anime bad guys who kind of like white hair, like cool physique, black suit, like him in his assassin kind of former life feels almost it's almost like a cliche, and kind of there's nothing really that special about it, and I do think that there's something about having this like chubby dad character who's like there in an apron, who's fighting people with like pens and paper clips and shit.
Yeah.
Just like whatever he's got to hand. That makes it more special, and it is like on the Reddit that I ended up going into like a bit of a Reddit spiral of Sakamoto Days. Someone was like, imagine being like you're like one of the world's best assassins, and you fight like this guy who's just like a tubby guy with a man bun and an apron,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then like and he completely destroys you, and everyone else around him is going, he wasn't even trying.
Yeah.
It kind of shows how like he was the world's best and probably still is the world's best assassin, and you see that by him not having to worry or be that in shape. How's your Picari sweat? Your face says you're not sure. You look confused. Going back in for another sip though.
Yeah. I thought it'd be fizzier. I don't know.
This
It's
is
kind of
salty.
like,
Could you imagine sweat being salty? I'm gonna have my chocolate.
yeah, it does. In my head, it was worse, but it's not bad. I could drink that.
Okay.
But it's just come out the fridge, and it's a really hot night. It's got the the condensation down the side where it's so it is quite.
I
Refreshing.
would drink nearly anything in those conditions on a hot night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
What? Oh, what's that?
I'm
Oh, was
just
that your
have my
chocolate bar?
Yeah. This is my no. Gretzky.
Bless you.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh,
What's it?
that's good.
Is that like a blue Rabano?
Yeah.
Right.
But hazelnut.
Oh.
So it's
right.
like that, but Nutella flavoured. I like a wafer chocolate bar.
Yeah. Nice little treat.
That's good. Put that aside before I become. Well, I already am kind of Sakamoto shaped anyway. If I become more Sakamoto shaped.
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah. Okay, harsh. So here's my next question. If I knew this was going to turn into fat shaming, I'd have suggested another anime. Very much against the spirit of Sakamoto Days.
I'm just gonna eat.
I could kill a man with a pen if I needed to. I'm just saying. Sakamoto makes me believe that anything is possible as a chubby funster. Yeah, so, and first 3 episodes.
Bless you.
I'm so sorry, I've got really terrible hay fever. Which is disgusting to see. Having now just gone off on a tirade about fat shaming, I've then like just shown myself to be a snotty mess. Karma. First 3 episodes. We have Sakamoto, so he's like his old partner shows up, who's the guy with the mind powers. And they have to like fight off some people who've discovered that he's alive again. Why are you shaking your head?
Is he not a hitman come to take him out at first?
Shin?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he also did work with him in the old days. Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, from the start, he's not sure that he wants to take him out. So he's like an easy convert.
Right.
So he doesn't really try that hard, I feel. Shin, to kill Sakamoto. And then ends up working in his convenience store, which is cute. Just slowly, this convenience store is just going to be like have more and more assassins working and living in it. It's the vibe that I get. Yeah. And then in like the third, so then they have like, and then in the second one, Lu shows up, who's a Chinese assassin.
Yeah, because her parents are the triads or something.
are in the triads, which is the kind of Chinese organized crime.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third episode, they go they go to a theme park where they're being hunted, and everyone's like running around trying to like track down the assassins, and but also not spoil the day out for like Sakamoto's family, which is cute
Yeah, yeah,
because they're trying to like not let on. um, and that sounds like weird and chaotic, but it's like also has some really fun fight scenes in it. In terms of characters, which characters are you immediately like rooting for and loving?
as a 34-year-old parent, Sakamoto.
Yeah. I'm not a parent and I'm still rooting for him because I just,
Yeah, he's just like a,
I get
I
his
don't
vibe.
know. Yeah, I just like his vibe where he doesn't show off or anything as well, and you kind of know what he is from seeing him from 5 minutes on screen time. You,
A wife guy.
yeah, wife guy under the thumb,
Uh, yeah.
but he's purely controlled by his wife because he loves her so much and she makes good food.
Yeah. She makes good food. Um, yeah, and it's kind of like a love at first sight thing, which I think is cute.
Yeah,
Yeah. And there is something nice about seeing like a kind of like dad energy in an action anime. I think
yeah,
because they're so it's such two different types of like slice of life versus like organized crime and hitmen and um like violence and stuff. And like having those two contrast against each other works really well for the comedy in the show as well.
mm-hmm.
Um, I was like, I feel like it's like a bit like Way of the House Husband meets One Punch Man. If for people who have watched anime, if you like either of those anime, I think you probably get on with Sakamoto Days for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I
It's
like
got that
Shin. I like the mind reader character. I think he's fun.
because it's got that kind of like deadpan humor like Saitama does. Like every so
Yeah.
often when is it Shin, the blonde one, the psychic one?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
See if he's doing something wrong, like he's talking about a hitman coming after them in front of his wife, it'll instantly cut to a scene where Sakamoto is like stabbing him through the head with a pencil, but it is all in Sakamoto's mind. But with
Yeah.
Shin being a mind reader, he can tell the intention and what he can see in his mind. So he's like, why are you always trying to kill us?" kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And even
That
when he like sees him for the first time in years, he's like, "We were friends. Why is the first thought of like seeing me that you want to kill me? I haven't even said anything to you yet." No, yeah, it's fun. If you had to choose between being like super powered type assassin, where you're like amazing reflexes, really strong, really smart strategically, all of that stuff, like so, world's best assassin versus reading minds, which would you pick?
right. So I know you had said to think about this question before I came on here, so I'd have an answer.
Mm.
And originally, I was gonna say the psychic power, and then I found
Yeah.
out how he got that power, and I'm not too sure now. But from
Mm.
the first 3 episodes, I would say definitely psychic power because you can use that outside of being a hitman. Like, imagine being able to read someone's mind in a poker game in the casino, or imagine any other non-nefarious thing you can do with reading someone's mind and sensing their emotions as well.
What would you do with it in real life if you, Chris, in your current life,
Oh,
how would you use reading minds?
probably to freak people out. I wouldn't be smart enough to use it for financial gain. I'd definitely, yeah, I would use it to freak people out. David
Yeah.
Blaine style though, but like more
Oh, do you
creepy.
just go on the streets?
Yeah, yeah.
I can see you becoming a bit of a stalker with it as well. You do love a little Google stalk. In like a friendly, low menace way.
Fair enough. I can see you as a stalker.
Not in like a creepy way, just like in like harmless, just like, oh, I've just realised what their password is, and then I can imagine you like logging into people's Facebooks and changing their statuses and things.
But know where you live. Know your darkest secret.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make that sound like you were some like horrible creep.
No,
You're a
it's
lovely
fine.
man, and I can't imagine you using it for evil. So it feels like, just like harmless mischief is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I do like harmless mischief, to be fair.
Yeah. I think I would also take. Well, okay. So I was thinking about this today, actually. So I also, when we talked about this yesterday, because we've actually been preparing. We talked about this episode and everything. Although you may not be able to tell if you're watching, because it's as chaotic as per usual.
Well, we talked about it before. We just randomly say, "Oh yeah, I really like this part." Or you watched ahead, didn't you? Yeah, because this happens, but I don't want to spoil it. But I'm going to anyway.
Yeah. Have you got to episode 3 yet? But so I was thinking about it, and I also at first I was like, obviously mind reading. That seems like obvious. But then today I was trying to carry too much at once because I didn't want to have to do more than one trip. You know, like when you've got to bring something in from upstairs, downstairs, and you're like, oh, I haven't got enough hands. And I dropped something, and I had that moment where it's slow mo, and you go, oh fuck, it's gonna be a huge mess to clean up. And I was thinking, if I was a super powered assassin with amazing reflexes, I could have caught that. And how many times a day do I wish that like my reflexes were better because I'm so clumsy, or I'm like just like so lazy that I try to shortcut stuff and then make it worse.
But I think I would counteract it because you just like, can't be bothered. I'll just let it fall.
Yeah, maybe. Laziness might win out either way. Like I could fight crime by reading criminals' minds.
Yeah.
He's got the energy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
operating on 4 hours sleep. I'm tired. It's hot. Don't wanna. Yeah. That's fair. So, moving on. So we'd all use mind powers. Would you watch more episodes? Or actually, hang on, before we go into would you watch more episodes, because you obviously have, so that's a pointless question this week. What were some of the highlights? What really kind of like drew you in and made it hard to look away?
Right, there's a few. I think the story is a bit of a slow burner. I mean, it's very, very quick to meet everyone, but the main plot, it's just like I haven't found out till episode 7 or 8 or something like that there's a big overarching plot come in, and that's quite far into a series because it's 12 episodes or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Total. But the action scenes and the animation, I think, are absolutely amazing. No two fights that I've seen are the same in their I would say techniques. It's not just hand to hand. Like the first time you see Sakamoto fighting, he's getting shot at, and he's eating his ramen or reading his paper, and he's got like a cough sweet in his mouth, and he deflects a bullet by spitting the sweet at him, and then just lamps him through a wall.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that doesn't happen twice of the same thing. Like there's other time where he has like a sniper battle, or he's fighting someone who's got like different special powers like poison knives, and it's never the same, and it feels like there's a lot of thought and effort gone into the animation, and I think you can tell.
Yeah, I agree, and there is a very different and the fights feel different. I also was getting excited for him to just reach for items because I was like, is he going to kill a man with that? Like,
Yeah.
how's he going to stop a bullet with a, like whatever he's reaching for at the time?
It's like when you
Because it
watch
is like,
it's like when you watch a Jackie Chan film and you're like, what inanimate
yeah,
object is he going to use next?
yes, and actually, have you seen Way of the Drunken Master?
Yes.
Yeah, I got vibes. Some of the fight scenes really remind me of that kind of like, just like, yeah, just like surprising, chaotic. You're surprised by the moves that people like, because after you watch a lot of anime, like some of them start to feel a bit like fights by numbers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they'll go back and forwards. Someone will power up. You'll
yeah,
think the hero's about to lose. He'll power up and use that move he should have probably used in the first 5 minutes.
yeah,
And then, he saves the day. Job done.
yeah.
Whereas in this, it's just it's like, that Sakamoto is probably going to win each time, but you just really enjoy the journey because it's going to be different always. And
Hmm.
at one point, he catches a bullet with some chopsticks, and I'm like, yes, it's just badass.
Yes.
I
Oh
love
no.
that. It's so fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know that, like, it's yeah. I know that you've watched ahead because you said about some of the sort of side characters and they've got different fighting styles and stuff as well. So I think there's also something about having like a real diversity of like different people fight and play to different strengths.
Hmm.
So when you see Shin in the theme park, he ends up being blinded, doesn't he, by the guy with the poison knives.
Yeah.
Um, but then he ends up reading Sakamoto's mind, so it's like he's fighting as Sakamoto, which is then again all really cool. So
Yeah.
he's like
Yeah.
completely blind, and then the guy's like, "It's like I'm fighting a different person," and it's like, "Oh, you
Yeah.
are." But while this is happening, he's dressed as like a park mascot on stage, doing like a kind of Power Ranger style
Yeah.
battle. So there's also like, even in like these like really serious life or death moments where the characters are taking everything very seriously, the context at which they're in is ridiculous. And
Yeah.
and I like the funniness of that. Some of those moments were highlights for me, as like it just in terms of like how silly the situation was, even though it's like when someone's doing something funny and they don't know it's funny and they're just like really committed to it. And it's just lovely to watch. um so yeah, so in terms of, are you going to watch ahead? We know you're going to watch ahead.
Oh, I'll finish this series
um
off tonight.
yeah, yeah. To be fair, as soon as we finish filming, I will be going and watching the rest of the series.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm just mad that I actually tried to follow the rules this time. Although you didn't send me a message, which I thought was interesting as you were watching this, which is you were saying, I don't know if this anime like proves that my rule isn't a good thing, because I think
Yeah.
you'd gotten to the big story and you were like, what if I had given up at episode 3 because I didn't think there was going to be a big story and I wasn't that interested.
Yeah.
But I still think this is an anime that will grip you by the third episode. So I think the rule still stands, and that's a good way to gauge whether or not you should invest time in anime. Like if you're enjoying it still by the third episode, it's okay for the story to build later.
I mean, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. I just think my
Yeah.
rule's a bit flaky sometimes. It's not a It's not a be all and end all rule. It's not an exact science. I just,
No,
yeah,
this is just two grown people watching animated
yeah. It could be because if
animated
I,
telly designed for young people.
although there's quite a lot of blood in this.
There's a lot of blood. There's also a fair bit of swearing, I think.
Yeah,
I'm sure that I heard bastards, and I love a good bastard in the middle of a fight.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure the
Yeah,
episode I'm on is
yeah,
called Dinosaur Bastards or something like that.
yeah. When we were looking at images before, you were like, dinosaur. The fact that there's an episode called Dinosaur Bastard, if that's not enough reason to watch the whole of this anime, I don't know what is.
It, do you know what it is? It's really weird because they're fighting a mad scientist in it, right? And he ends up injecting them with some sort of serum, which means he can control them with a remote control. I'll not give away
Ooh.
anything to do with the fight, but he flips a switch and he causes one of them to speak backwards, which is weird. And
So,
then, but
if you could do that, if you could control people, what would you get them to do? Bring you cups of tea?
Oh yes, I would get them to go to work for us and everything. Pay my rent.
You dinosaur bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, so it is goofy and silly, but surprisingly good. Where are you hoping it'll go? What do you want to happen next, or by the end of the series? Since you
So,
know what happens for at least 8 episodes of it.
so the thing that I wanted to happen in when I was watching the first 3 episodes was I wanted to have Sakamoto be challenged a bit more, to lose a bit, as opposed to when he has some sort of confrontation, he's normally the person that nips in to save everyone else. Like just at the nick
Yeah,
of time, he stops a blade going in their eye or something, and then he comes in, chins the bad guy, and then it wraps up. But I know that does happen. But
yeah,
if what about the current episode I'm on, I can't tell you without it being spoiled.
yeah.
So
Okay, fair enough. I also was hoping for that. What I was hoping for, because he does. You're right. He's the hero of the day.
yeah,
At least for the first 3 episodes, he comes in and saves people, and then like the other assassins join him, and he becomes a bit of like a hero figure. I would love to see those people that he's like kind of drawn into his chubby convenience store life, family life. I'd like to see them rescue him. Um, so yeah, but I have a feeling from the look on your face that that is going to happen. So it's again the perfect anime series.
I was just making a Pocari sweat face, not related.
I was it.
As it gets warmer, it gets saltier.
Ooh,
Mm,
interesting and gross.
yeah, the drink, not the Sakamoto Days.
It gets hot and salty. Well, not my kind of podcast. Uh, yeah, fair enough. So, yeah, I think we can safely say this is a great one. We'd be happy to recommend it to other people. We'll be watching all of it. We'll be eagerly awaiting a series 2. Hoping
Yeah.
that one comes out for sure. Um, what would you like to do next week, though?
Hmm. Normally I asked just before, but I haven't actually, so we're going blind, aren't we?
No, this is a genuinely blind decision. We don't. We were so caught
Um.
up talking about Sakamoto Days, we didn't do the bit that we should actually do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Um.
Shall I get my list up?
Yeah, I can do. We normally do it on the
Come on.
fly anyway.
That is what they call it sometimes. Take two.
Hey.
So we were originally going to thinking about doing Goblin Slayer. I vetoed it because of the first episode. So we're going to re-record this bit and slot it in seamlessly, and no one will ever know. They're
Good
going to
thing we
find
didn't
out.
mention it.
No one will ever know. Yeah, good thing I didn't mention it. So take two. What are we going to do instead, Chris?
Well, I was thinking, should we do Kaiju number 8?
That
Yeah.
sounds great.
Little Mecky Mech.
I'm like, bit of mech. I do love a mech. I also love a kaiju, and I'm hoping it's going to have actual kaiju, like big monsters and stuff.
Oh, I hope so. Do you know what it is? I haven't
Yeah.
watched much mech stuff. Like, I've never seen Gundam.
You wanted to watch Gurren Lagann as well at one point, because that's on my list.
They're little drills, aren't they?
But they're mechs. They're like mechs as well. They're like repurposed mining gear.
Ah, right. Yeah, I think I've seen the odd episode years ago to try it out. I liked it
Yeah,
and then forgot about it.
yeah. I love a mech. Like I was as a teenager a big Gundam girl. I loved
Mm.
Gundam Wing. Multiple episodes.
Did you
Now,
like?
as an adult, I realise those are child soldiers. But at the time, I was like, "Oh my god!" Because I was 14.
I liked Ripley in the end of Alien with that little forklift machine.
Yeah, that's fun. Real life.
Yeah.
IRL, not real life, but live action mechs.
But yeah.
There's no good way to eat these. But we vetoed Goblin Slayer because it's obscene.
Yeah.
The irony.
Yeah. As soon as we're finished, I was like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "I remember it being bad, but I don't know how bad." And then I got it up on the computer, and Phoebe just
And
went,
we watched that, and we watched the first scene, and I was like, I don't think I want to watch 3 episodes.
which is fair.
Yeah.
And we've also found out that there is a parent rating for them that you can look up, because we specifically have a rule where we don't really want to watch things with overly sexual things with
We don't want to
younger
minors.
looking people, minors. I mean,
Well,
2 consenting adults, smash away, not bother about that.
we'll watch that all day, baby.
But if it's a 1,000-year-old demon that looks like a 12-year-old girl,
I'm so
nah.
not interested. No, and it's handy to have parent ratings if you're wondering what anime you can watch with a kid. Because not all, in fact, a lot of anime nowadays, I would say, is not necessarily kid friendly.
Ghibli babies, yeah, I'll watch that.
Ghibli's safe. I think Ghibli's always going to be safe, except for maybe Grave of the Fireflies, and maybe Princess Mononoke. That's got some very gory bits with the wolves, where the wolves are attacking.
Yeah, in one of the first scene, he just takes someone out with an arrow as well. Bunk.
Yeah. I think it's one of the most violent Studio Ghiblis. But that's for another day, because next week we're going to watch Kaiju number 8. Woo!
Hey.
So, what are we doing this week in terms of other things on Nerdy Up North? Are you going to have a go at promoing?
Yeah, probably my own things, maybe.
Yeah, go for it. Plug what are you up to, Chris?
Me, on Tuesday, we've got Top Grumps, which will be undecided. I'm probably going to pick a nice niche, horribly special effects martial arts film, because I'm kind of in one of them moods at the minute, and we
Do you
don't
know
plan
what
ahead.
you should do? Itchy the Killer.
Oh yes,
It's
I love
not
that as
got the
well.
yeah. It's not like kind of cheesy special effects, but I think it's a great film.
I
And it
think
is in the
Lee'll
kind of similar vein as Tokyo Gore Police.
I think Lee'll really enjoy the scene where the 2 killers try to pull that guy's arm off by hand. But
Oh,
yeah, I'll put that to him.
just
So
thanks.
we'll have that Tuesday 1:00 or 6:00. We're thinking about changing the time. Who knows? We don't really plan ahead.
But where can people find out if
We
you do change?
can find out on the Ninja Up North Facebook, Discord, the YouTube channel. Just give them all a join in that. If you want to join the Discord, what you need to do is join the Facebook group and then message an admin saying Lady Di has removed her bracelet. And we'll send you a link.
That's it's kind of turned into some sort of spy thriller now.
It's the Sakamoto getting to us.
Yeah. I'm kind of into it. This is fun. Can
Knock
I
3.5
unjoin
times.
and rejoin? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just ignore you if you send us a message. Phoebe's gone. No, I'm joking.
Spoiler, Chris is the admin.
Yeah.
That's right. So come join us on the Facebook. Come join us in the Discord. This is the best way to get stay up to date with when stuff is going out. Also check out the website. We've got a bunch of cool articles and short stories and reviews up on the website. And also you had Tooney on Top Grumps a few weeks ago. He's been doing some really fun reviews on Instagram. So go give Tooney a follow on Instagram at Toons Takes. TOONS Takes. And he kind of just gives short reviews for films that he's seen, and he goes to see some really good stuff. So it's a good way to kind of see if it's worth getting into the cinema.
And he started reading a manga that the last episode, Chainsaw Man. he did actually cover that manga, and he watched along the anime from us talking about it, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Because getting someone to try anime as well.
Yeah, and he gave a really good review as well. Like, I was like, oh, here's a professional at work.
Yeah. He's like a proper adult.
Yeah, so don't bother going and watching Chainsaw Man from last week. Go and actually read Tooney's review of Chainsaw Man. You'll probably get more out of it. Is that bad? Should I not be telling people not to watch our podcast? Unsubscribe. Do both. Why not do both?
Yeah.
There's room for everyone. Yeah. And then obviously on the Nerdy Up North channel, we have all of the wonderful things that we normally have. So we've got Monsters on a Monday. We have Wonk coming out once a month. And the next one will be Princess Leia. So that'll be fun. And then we've got Jake over on the Twitch, Nerdy Up North Twitch, doing streaming. And we have other people from the community doing streaming as well. Like Lee has been doing some Oblivion lately. You've done a bit of Oblivion and kind of the odd bit of stuff. And we also have a Minecraft server that we've been playing on, and people have been building beautiful things, offerings to the gods, which the gods have then destroyed with TNT.
Oops.
Whoops. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. So just hit the little bell next to the subscribe button, and you'll be notified of all the cool podcasty things that we do over here. And of course, we have the main Sunday pod every week. And there are some good guests. I think it's like a history focused one this week. No,
it's Taffeta Dawn on this last week. I don't know who's next. It was this week because this is going out next week. Time.
I think it is Taffeta Darling, because this will be out Friday and then that'll come Sunday. So
yes,
Got on Sunday, and that should be a really good episode. And she's amazing. If you don't follow her on like the various like TikTok, Instagram stuff, she's great. So I think that'll be a really fun one. And they had Brian from Be More Super on last week as well, which is worth a watch if you're watching this before that comes out.
His voice as well.
Oh my god, he sounds like Velvet. It's so relaxing. His voice is amazing.
Yeah. And then, because I listened back to this a little bit, and I'm like, I sound like shit compared to him. I'm like, do I need to have another mic?
I think we all do, and some people just are born with velvet in their throats. Do you know what I mean? Is that a weird thing to say? Anyway, moving on. Thanks for coming. That's how I'm going to sign off. Some people are born with velvet in their throats. Have a good rest of the week, and we will see you this time again next week. Bye!
Bye! There's going to be some more press-ups, because I really need to catch up. Right.